I'm Amanda, and this is Not Your Granny's Quilt Show. Hey, everybody, welcome to today's episode. I'm so glad you're here. I'm always glad you're here, but it's just one of those things. It's never going to be a lie. Today I have Megan Fowler of Modern Moon Quilt Studio. Also, she's what the scout leader, is that what she called herself? Of Quilt Scouts, formerly known as Quilt Scouts of America. It's a super fun program where you can join and you receive patches for completing certain bits of your quilting journey. And I just thought that was such a fun idea. So we dive into that. We dive into her work on the sweater weather sampler and just everything she's got going on. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode and let's get into it. Hi, Megan. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so glad we're finally getting to chat.
I know, finally. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. I have been following you for a while and I've just loved all your stuff. And like when you started the Quilt Scouts, I was like, holy crap, that's so cool. And so I can't wait to talk all about that. But
I know,
yeah,
me too.
you're here. It's so fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an adventure this last year.
Yeah, I
It's
bet.
actually hard
I
to
bet.
believe it's actually been almost a year since we launched like launched in last May. So it's just bonkers. It's like flown by.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but
It really
also,
hasn't. I mean, it doesn't feel that, me either. It doesn't feel that way.
yeah. Yeah. Time flies when things are crazy, right? Oh my gosh. Well, before we get there, I'd like to jump in and just find out, where did you even get into quilting in the first place?
Yeah, sure. I started quilting in like late 2019. So it was like right before COVID, conveniently.
Hmm. Right.
um, I I think I want to say I'm always I always forget, but it randomly came across some like quilting videos on like YouTube and just went down like the YouTube rabbit hole, like watching these
Yeah.
quilting videos. And I'd always been pretty like crafty, artsy before. Like I did like embroidery and like different things. And I had a sewing machine, but I had never quilted. So just got a wild hair to just like, I'm gonna make a quilt. And my husband was like so caught off guard. I remember he was just like, okay, go for it.
Right.
So I made my first quilt. Yeah, it was like December 2019. And then just started making a few quilts after that. And I just learned online is really how I learned, by trial and error and things like that. And then really decided to turn it into a business. It would have been after my son was born in like 2022, I
Okay.
think. That's when I started Modern Moon Quilt Studio. Started writing patterns. I took a pattern writing course and things like that. And I still have Modern Moon Quilt Studio. I'm just not really building into that as much because I pivoted to Quilt Scouts a year ago.
Hmm.
So now I'm doing that. So I still have Modern Moon Quilt Studio, but Quilt Scouts has really been my focus like the last year.
Yeah. Yeah. How fun. What was the
Mhm.
first quilt you made?
It was a black and white, like plus sign. Like I wanted something like modern Scandinavian, just like I did 5-inch blocks, I think,
Mhm.
and just pieced that together. And I still have it. It's very well loved quilt. It looks beat because it's just like the stitching and the quilting is just like a mess, but it's super cozy and I love it. And just like very like ultra modern, just black and white.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. How fun. I
Yeah.
think I think first quilts are just like, they stick around forever, and they do, like mine is so beat. Like the binding is coming off. Like I
Yeah.
need to fix it up. But it's just like, yeah, I made this, it's like you pour so much into just that first one
Yes.
that it feels like I
Yes.
can never get rid of this. We have to use it. It has to be in rotation constantly. Like, because
It
yeah,
has a
it's
ton of sentimental value. Yeah, I feel like there's
yeah.
always like, and it's so fun to just go back and reflect on like those early quilts too and laugh at it. It's just like, oh my God, like what was I doing? But it's like that's where we all start, we all have to have a first quilt that's just beat and then we get better from there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, and I think too, like, as you progress and you start, you write patterns and all this stuff, it's like,
Hmm.
I think we forget that, like, no, we all started in the same place. We all started
Yeah.
with like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm about to find out like
Yeah.
what
We
this
all had to
is.
start sewing two squares together and then you just go from there.
Yeah. We all had to like mess around with that seam allowance and figure that out. And, you know,
Yeah.
so it's funny to like, yeah, just like think back and then be like, remind ourselves, like, I have to remind myself, like, no, I used to be a shitty quilter. Like, I used to be so bad at this. Like, so, like, calm down. It's fine. I'm really good at
Right.
it now, but I wasn't, you know. So
Yeah, yeah,
it's funny.
exactly. We've all yeah, it's nice to reflect back and see how far you've come, like in your craft and your work or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I still have some quilts though where I struggle and I'm like, am I a quilter? Like how why can't I do this? I
Right.
have
Like
these
that's just not my
conversations with
jam.
my friends. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. I know. It's so funny. I have the same thing with my friends. I'll like text them and be like, I I'm broken. I'm broken. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. Why can't I do this? And they're like, I don't know, just walk away for a sec and
Yeah,
come
yeah,
back to it and
exactly.
it's fine. But
I can't tell you how many times you've told each other too, like just relax. Like no one dies in quilting. It's a quilt. Like,
you know,
like
it's
yes,
fabric. Calm down.
exactly.
I'm
This is
like, it
not life or
won't,
death.
yeah. Like it won't line up. Da, da, da. It's like, it's just fabric. It's not that serious.
Yeah. We've joked about we're gonna put on a pillow sometime. Just no one dies in quilting or t-shirt. We have to do it on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Definitely merch material.
Yeah. For sure. For sure. Yeah. Make it quick. Claim that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Um, so when you started Modern Moon, like were you feeling really just like jazzed about writing patterns? Like how did you feel about the process? Obviously you took a course, so like there's probably like
Hmm.
a lot of new kind of the newness of that and the energy behind that. And like, yeah, like how does that feel now? Obviously you said you've worked on Quilt Scouts more on the last year. Like
Uh-huh.
where does that kind of sit with you now?
Writing patterns.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. I still write a ton of patterns because I write for we have our sweater weather sampler we do. I have quote patterns that I'm writing for like the membership,
Mhm.
like free patterns that are available to them. And then a lot of them are like smaller projects. So we have like a tote bag. I just did a like a hooded quilt cloak for like our stargazing thing. So I'm still incorporating it a lot, but it isn't like my sole focus anymore. I would say like it was with Modern Moon, where I was trying to get like quote patterns out every couple months.
Mhm.
It's just more like I'm still using it a lot, just not in the same focus, I guess.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But
And does that feel more like true to kind of how you want to exist in the quilting space?
yeah, it really does. I'm finding I'm really enjoying where I've landed with Quilt Scouts right now. It's feels even more creative than I mean, what I was doing before took a lot of creativity, but this feels even more creative and it's very like multifaceted. And I love that it's not just a quilt pattern. It's a pattern for a hooded quilt coat that you can wear while you go stargazing outside for to earn your Quilt Scouts badge. And then there's also all these other components that go into like this month's content, you know? So it's just
Yeah.
very like I love a good theme. You know, it's like every month has a good theme. And I just love to be able to build everything around that with like the emails I'm writing, the blog posts I'm creating, the patterns that like the pattern that'll go along with like that theme of the month. So um I just love that. It's a lot of fun and it just feels super creative. And I love that we get like fresh content every month. Like next month, I get to do a whole new theme around a different batch. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a ton. I really like it. It's a process, you know, to kind of find your groove and find your niche and like kind of get there. I felt like with Modern Moon, I liked it. I mean, and it was fun and it felt like me at the time, but I feel like I've definitely changed from probably that style and that vibe. So yeah, you know, it's always a process just trying to find like your look and your style and your niche. So this
Yeah.
feels the most like me of all the adaptations I've had before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it seems like you can be a little more intentional with it
Hmm.
and yeah, focus in, have a theme and really just like dive in and let that be the star of the month.
Yeah.
And I
It
think
drives and it's just a good driver. You know, it really,
yeah.
like I said, it really just drives everything that I do for that month. Where before where I was writing just a standalone quilt pattern, it just felt like more, I don't know, it was a little harder to like produce and create and then like maybe just too much pressure. Just like I have to have
Mm,
a quilt pattern. It has to be the most amazing quilt pattern anyone's ever seen. You know, it's like just take some of that pressure off and
yeah.
just have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can imagine like I know sometimes even with just so, following other people's patterns, I'm like, I've run out of creativity. Like, I don't know, as far
Mhm.
as like picking the fabrics go or like finding good complementary fabrics or, just that kind of part of it even feels like, ugh, I'm like run
Yeah.
out of steam. So I can only imagine if you're trying to produce something that can be sellable and
Hmm.
marketable every
Hmm.
couple of months probably
It's
feels,
stressful.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have so much admiration for pattern designers because like it's definitely not my jam, but I obviously quilt and make other people's patterns all the time, so I really really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can totally see how that might be like a little bit draining if it's not like feeding all of your creativity
Hmm.
and some people really love it and that's fantastic because then we get really
Hmm.
great patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like, you're talking about like that just doesn't feed me. Like, I feel like I regularly have, well, more like friends and family people ask, like, oh, do you make quilts to sell? Like, do you make them for, retail? Or I was like, no, like that's just not fun. Like, I just don't like it's too stressful. I'm making a quilt for profit. Then it's like, as if you're not already trying to make a fabulous quilt. Now I have to do it for profit. And it's like that's even more intense. And I'm like, I just no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I know lots of people that love to do that, and like that's their thing. And I'm like, I don't think I would enjoy any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. As someone who does that and I'm starting to kind of phase back from it because it has been really hard on
Hmm.
me and my own creativity, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And then to be, some people are just like, do whatever. I just want to quilt. And I'm like, well, that like you
That's
don't,
even more stressful. It's like staring at a blank like canvas. You're like,
yeah.
okay,
I
I
need
need some
some direction,
direction.
like colors, anything like whatever. And some people are like, I
Yeah.
want this specific exact quilt. I want these exact colors. I'm like, that I those half of those fabrics are out of print. Half, it's like I can't make that for you. And so, or the people who are like, they say they like something and then you buy everything and then they change their mind and you're like, I've already
Mm.
purchased fabric and they're like, well, I don't want that. And it's like, I just can't do this anymore. It's like, and then
Yeah.
to
I've never even been in that boat, but I feel like that would be so frustrating.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard and it's been it helped my mom and I grow our business like when it was still pretty new or
Hmm.
when I was new into it full time. But at this point, now that I'm running it by myself, I'm just like, I
It's
can't,
too much.
it's
Yeah.
too much and to value something that's kind of priceless in a way. And then
Hmm.
like realizing that that's not even enough for me to feel like satisfied with doing it. You know what I mean? It's just like,
Yeah.
what am I
Yeah.
doing this for? It's not for me anymore.
I think it's what's so cool about like the quilting world as a whole. Like there's so many different facets to it. Like you said, you have
Yeah.
pattern writers, you have long armors, I mean, it's just, there's so many different ways that you can, like people find themselves within the quilting community, right? Or like get
Mhm.
in the quilting community and then just pivot to something else. Like there's so much that goes into it. And I
Yeah.
don't think the general, public realizes that, like how big of a community it is and how big it is. Like really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's my favorite thing telling like randos that like about QuiltCon, for
Yes.
example.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to a quilt convention. They're like, oh, that's cute. And I'm like, no, we
No,
take
like you
over
don't
a whole
realize.
convention center and
Yeah.
there's like tens of thousands of people that show up. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, hello. It's a
Yeah.
like multi-billion dollar
Yeah.
industry. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't a joke.
Yeah. I
Like,
know.
give retired women some free time and some money and
Right? I
I mean,
mean,
I'm not
yeah.
retired. I'm just, but
Same.
it's like I'm a millennial. I'm going to monetize my hobby and quilting is it. So,
Yeah, exactly. Same.
but I'm here for it. I really like it. So it's fun. But I don't know. And like, yeah, you can really niche in and you can find the spots in within quilting that like, yeah, that you love that
Hmm.
again feed your soul and like make your heart sing and
Yes.
there's going to be aspects of it that you probably don't like but that's
Yeah.
okay because it's a means to an end ultimately to get
Hmm.
the process of learning a new technique or making a pattern you've really wanted or using colors that you're just like so in love with and having a tangible thing to then be able to showcase that. And it's like a snapshot in time almost of like,
It really is.
this was
Yeah.
me in 2021, or this
Yes.
was me in 2017. Like, and it's funny, like I've watched my quilts morph too. Like, definitely, I've always loved like cool colors, blues, greens, purples, but just
Mhm.
definitely like the mood of the fabric and the style of like piecing and stuff has definitely morphed. And it's just like, it
Yeah.
is fun to see those like snapshots in time of like, oh, I was super obsessed with Tula that year. Or, like I was super obsessed with Ruby Star always, or, I was really in my art gallery phase in that moment. And
Yep,
it's
exactly.
just fun to have like
Yes.
different bits and pieces around and
Mhm.
to be known as like, oh, my auntie has quilts everywhere. So when, it's like the kids come over and they spend the night and they know there's 85 quilts around the house and they can just make beds wherever they want and they love
Yeah,
it.
mine usually gets they're used to build forts usually. I have
Yeah.
a 4-year-old, so we have a lot of
Oh
cool
yeah.
forts.
Yeah. Which I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, the boys, my boys used to, because I didn't start quilting till they were like, I think probably, I don't even know, well, like 8 years ago. So they were like middle school and
Mhm.
like late elementary. So they were kind of older by the time
Yeah.
I started
Yeah.
quilting, but they still like really appreciate having lots of quilts
Always.
around. And
Oh yeah.
as they get older, I'm like, okay, what quilt do you want now? And they're like, okay,
Do you make them for like their beds and stuff, like their own like quilt for like nothing like that yet?
I didn't. I made them each like my youngest was really into Harry Potter like as a when he was younger, and so I made him just like a simple patchwork of Harry Potter fabrics. And then um my older son is he was super into Minecraft, and so I made him one with Minecraft fabric. And they were pretty, throwish size, but they did use those ones on their bed as just kind of
Hmm.
like an extra blanket. But then um my oldest actually went into the Air Force, and then moved into the Space Force after high
Yeah.
school. And so um he was home visiting in between going to like tech school and going to his station in
Hmm.
Colorado. And he felt some seal minky, like the Lux Cuddle from Shannon, because we just had a bunch laying around. And he was like, I need a quilt out of this. I was like, I held up, I was like, well, it's not going to be very big because the piece is only this. He's like, I don't care. I just want this. So I just like picked up some random, he calls it Minecraft blue. It's like that
Hmm.
bright cerulean blue, and just picked up a bunch of fabrics with that in it. And I had one with like paper airplanes on it, and just made him like a scrappy chevron. And that was
Yeah.
his kind of like graduation quilt. And then my
Oh,
youngest graduated in 2023, but I just barely finished his quilt. But he's like 6'2", lanky kid. And I was like, I need to make him a big quilt.
yeah.
And so
Very long.
he got like a full, like an 80 by 90 monstrosity. When he held it up, he was like, holy crap, this thing's huge. I was like, well, you're a big kid. Anyway, so yeah, it's kind of hit or miss, but they also are like, I'm like, if you guys ever want different quilts, like just let me know. Like I'm happy to make them for you. You might not get them right away, but I'm happy to make
Yeah.
them. And I keep asking my oldest, I'm like, do you want a bigger quilt? He's like, nope. Like,
He's like, this
okay.
is the only quilt that exists from here on out.
Yeah, he's like, no,
I don't.
I want everything I own to be able to fit in my car. So if you make me a bigger quilt, that might impact that. And I was like,
Okay.
well,
So
okay.
he's a bit of a nomad right now, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, what were you gonna say? I
Oh,
interrupted
I was
you.
to say I've only made my son like 2 quilts. I made him his baby quilt, and then I did like a lo and behold, it was the homecoming pattern.
Mm,
Which I just love. So I made the baby size for that. And then when he got his like big boy toddler bed, I made him like a quilt to fit that. It was like I did the dinosaur quilt from Elizabeth Hartman and he loved it.
mm.
But then it was like almost immediately he went into like his bigger bed. He has a full size bed now. So I was like, okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna make a new quilt for like your new bed, like a full size quilt. I mean, that's like no easy feat, like having time to
No.
do that. And at the point, I was like, I just need to get bedding. We have the bed, we need bedding. So I had like bought a quilt from Target, like $30, just like quilt.
Yeah.
And I remember my husband, he like quilt shamed me. It was just like, he's like, you could just make this. I'm like, I know I could, but for like way more money in fabric. And this is like $30. And I just need to I need to make a bed. So he has somewhere to sleep at this point. But I
Right.
keep wanting to like make him a new quilt for like his like big boy room, but it's on my
Yeah.
to-do list. But it is,
No.
it's funny. Like when it comes to our friends and family, it seems like it takes so much longer to like get stuff made. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I know. I'm like, I'm doing this for free for you, so you'll get it when you get it. No.
Well, my most recent make is I did a fried egg quilt, and just purely out of fun. Like I just wanted to do something silly and quirky. And the running joke is like my husband always has like eggs for breakfast. And even
Mine too.
my kiddo is just like, oh, dad's making eggs again. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to find it so we can like tag like the proper like who inspired it, because I can't even remember where I first saw this quilt. Because it was not my original idea. But anyways, I finally got that done. And now my husband and son have been fighting over whose quilt it is. And I'm like, I'm staying out of this, guys. You guys can figure this out. Maybe I need to make like a baby egg. We have like the big egg and the baby egg or something, but they're like
That's
fighting over us
hilarious.
downstairs. It's really funny.
I love that. That's
You
so
know what I'm talking
funny.
about? Have you seen like it's just
Mm-hmm.
basically yeah. So I
Yeah.
made those just for fun.
Yeah. No, that is so fun. I love
Mhm.
that. And same, my husband eats eggs for every breakfast and I'm
Every breakfast.
allergic to them, so I have to stay far, far away. But I like love everything I see. Like um Emily Watts makes those like fried egg like wall hangings
Oh yes, yeah.
also with
I think
like
I've seen
and she does
those.
her bicep. Like those are so cute and like yeah, I love them, but I'm like if I really touch them in real life, I'll die. So it's fine.
So he just eats them every morning out of spite.
Yeah, kind of. No, I'm just kidding. He like tried to be like, I won't eat them. It's fine. I'm like, as long as I don't touch them, I'm fine. Like
Wow. Very
it's like
sensitive.
not and of like I'm not gonna actually die. It's
Mhm.
just I just have a lot of
I mean, why
things
go
that
to?
hmm?
I said, like, just why go there if you don't have to? Like, just avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I just that's the way I have to live my life and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. He just eats everything I can't eat, and I'm like, I'll just be over here, guys. No. But anyway, okay, so then when you started Quilt Scouts, like, yeah, I want to hear about like the inspiration, like what led you to that, and like
Mhm.
what went into you like bringing that to life.
Yeah. I I kind of came across this idea randomly. I was actually reading a story to my kiddo at bedtime, and it was a story. It was just like a very silly like kids book, but in the story they were like camping. They were like scouts camping,
Mm-hmm.
and the artwork in it was just like really beautiful, just fun artwork, and they had like little badges and stuff, like kind of with that like on the cover and stuff. And I just was like, oh, I don't know, just something struck me. I was like, oh, that's so fun. Like that would be kind of fun if we could like do quilting badges. And I just had this like light bulb moment, um and then I just sat down and I started just kind of hashing it out. I'm like, okay, what would this look like? Like, what's the vibe? Like, what would we offer? You know, like, how would we structure this? And I ran it by my friends, like the Nine Patch Quilt Collective. I feel like I run everything by them. And they
Yeah.
were like super, they're always very supportive, but they were very excited. And I was like, okay, I'm like getting some proof of concept here. I feel like this could be a thing. And then from there, yeah, I just started building it out, and I took months just kind of building out the website and building out the membership and just getting the structure and the foundation, and um trying to find a source, place to source badges and patches and things like that. So it was
Mm-hmm.
months of work just to kind of lead up, and we finally launched in May. But yeah, that was kind of where the initial inspiration came from. But then kind of deeper into that, I really wanted it to be like the whole, I guess, concept was supposed to be like bringing adventure into like your quilting journey, because I think a lot of us do kind of get stuck, like either stuck in a rut, oh, he's doing the same thing, same pattern, same fabrics, or maybe we feel intimidated to try something new, or don't want to kind of get out that comfort zone, or don't know how to start,
Mm-hmm.
so that was really part of it. It was like just being adventurous, like within quilting and within life. So it was kind of melding those two, like how are you adventurous in life? And it was kind of like, we go hiking, we go camping, we do, these fun things. And then like, how are we being adventurous within quilting? Are you just trying a new color palette? Are you going to try a new technique or like a crazy pattern you would have never done before?
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of pushing people out of their comfort zone was like the goal of the membership and of Quilt Scouts. And then, you get to earn badges along with that. And it's like, you do it for the badge. Like maybe I don't want to learn foundation paper piecing, but I want the foundation paper piecing badge. So I'm going to do it. And then,
Right.
so many times people, they find out they really like it. I learned that actually with the Conquer Curves badge. We have a
Mm-hmm.
badge for, people learning how to sew curves. And so many people I've learned are never do it because they're just very intimidated by it or don't like to do it, or And once they figure out how to do it, and make a few tweaks, they love it. And then it opens up this whole new world of like quilt patterns you would have never made otherwise because they had heard
Yeah.
them. And now you know how to do it. And so that was really kind of that's the whole goal, I guess, behind Quilt Scouts. But I always
Yeah.
joke that it's like a quilt guild meets Girl Scouts. It's a vibe between those two because there is a whole community behind it too. We have a whole Quilt Scouts troop, an online community where we all come together and we learn from each other and encourage each other. And it's off social media. It's not on Facebook. It's a separate thing, so we don't get sucked into social media doom scrolling or anything. And
Hmm.
it's where we can share our badges and our achievements and the adventures we've gone on. And it's been a ton
Yeah.
of fun watching it grow and just watching people grow within it. I mean, I feel like it was when we first launched, people were and people still are so excited about it. But I remember getting a lot of comments like, oh my gosh, I've been so like just blah about quilting. And like, this is totally bringing back my zest for quilting, or like my sojo's coming back. Like, I'm excited to like try to earn these badges and like do some new things. So people were getting really like reinvigorated by it. And that was it was so awesome to hear like those stories of people just being like, this is what I needed. Like, I didn't know this is what I needed, but this is what I needed to like really push me. Like, and people are just having a lot of fun, I think. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's so fun. And like what a
yeah.
cute and novel idea because yeah, like we're grown-ups, but like we still like little treats. We still like recognition for trying something
Exactly.
new and scary. And like we were kind of saying, like, oh, it's fabric, it's not that serious. But sometimes like it feels really serious in the
Exactly.
moment. And when you're facing something that like makes you nervous, that little bit of encouragement is like so important. And having like a community of people who are like, I'm earning that badge too. And like, let's do it
Yes.
together, or like figuring it out
Yes. And they've been
together.
so amazing, like the community with like picking each other up and helping me. Like, because you said sometimes you kind of get stuck and you overthink. You're like, oh my God, do I want to cut into this fabric? Do I want to do this? And
Yeah.
sure enough, someone always steps out. Here, let me help you. Like, let's do a video. I'll show you how to sew a zipper on. Like, we can do this.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that. Or like someone was struggling with like flying geese, and I was like, all right, let's do a workshop. Like, let's set aside this time and we're gonna workshop how to like get your flying geese like right. So, you can make this quilt that you want to make or whatever. But
Yeah.
so the community has really it's been amazing and worldwide. I mean, we have quilters in Germany and Norway, and I think I have someone in Hong Kong and Australia. So like literally all over the globe, uh,
Wow.
these quilters are coming together. Quilters that wouldn't usually have a community of like, we have a quilter in Norway and she's like, we don't have like quilt shops and quilt guilds. Like, I'm the
Yeah.
only quilter I know. So like to be able to find an online community to connect with and like learn from and, and share your knowledge is like,
Mhm.
that was huge for her, like huge.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a difference. And just giving somebody like a space to do the thing that they love with other people and like
Mm-hmm.
connecting people, like you said, globally is just so
Yeah,
powerful. And that alone, I think, gives people more courage because they're like, I know I've got somebody behind me. Even if they've
exactly.
never met in person, you can
Mm-hmm.
still be a cheerleader for someone. And
Yeah,
some of my favorite quilty people, like we'd only ever talked online for a
yeah.
few years. And then we finally got to meet in person at QuiltCon this year. And it was like the most magical
Same.
thing in the whole
Yeah,
world.
same. It was like so. You're at QuiltCon. I
Yeah.
probably missed you. I was there too with my mom, but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, wild. Like finally, and it's so funny because you're like, I know you, but I
Hmm.
don't know you. And then it was like, well, we were meeting Quilt Scouts too, like Quilt Scout members that we'd only been online, right? And then
Yeah.
we had a lunch, we met up, and we had the QuiltCon badge. I made sure everyone was getting their badge for QuiltCon, and but it
Yes.
was just kind of like, okay, like we know each other, but we don't really know each other. So it's just like getting to like meet each other face to face was so fun and exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Like being able to come together in person is cool too. But it's like, yeah, just knowing you also have your little niche in the internet and
Exactly.
like that you can go back to is like really cool too and
Yeah.
reinvigorate those things. But what a fun concept. And so, like, obviously, like we were talking, I've interviewed with a handful of the Nine Patch Quilt Collective ladies.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of, they were all like, yeah, this is so fun and, talked highly of it. And I, um, I got all the patterns for this year's, well, this last,
For the sampler.
The sampler, the sweater weather
Yeah.
sampler. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was like,
That's
my
okay.
brain
That's
just
okay.
like
Yeah.
shorted out for a second. So I like have the kit. I'm like, I have all the patterns because
Yeah.
I just it's so cute. And so it was fun to see that like it became like a Quilt Scouts kind of like it's under all that. And so yeah, tell me like how did that happen? And was it yeah, I guess is it
How did Quilt Scouts get in with the sweater weather, or what? I guess I don't
or
know if
just
you.
yeah, I guess it seemed it yeah, I don't know. Maybe just like, did you guys like just merge it with Quilt Scouts or are you just participating as Quilt Scouts? Like,
The
yeah,
later, yeah.
okay,
So
okay,
when we did the second year of Sweater Weather Sampler, I was like thick into launching Quilt Scouts, and I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I really want to do it as Quilt Scout. So
okay.
that was just, I mean, that was kind of my goal. Was like, I want to grow my Quilt Scouts brand, and
Hmm.
uh, so I participated as Quilt Scouts. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay,
that was exactly
okay. Yeah,
it.
okay. Great. Yeah, well, because I knew it was different the year before. And anyway, so it's fine.
Mhm.
I just was
I know.
like
I think well,
clarifying
you
for
weren't
myself.
alone. You weren't alone in
Okay.
wondering that. You're like, okay, what happened to Modern Moon?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I guess like I had known you as that, and then you weren't really on as much as that anymore. And then, yeah, when Sweater Weather came out, I was like, and Quilt Scouts. And I was like, oh, is this like a different collab? Like, what's going on? And I was
Yeah,
like, whatever. I'm
yeah.
still getting the patterns. I don't, whatever it is, it's fine. Like, I don't, okay, cool. Good job, you guys. I don't know. And that just shows you how deeply I pay attention to things
So
and
good.
read
It's
emails
okay.
very thoroughly. You guys, it's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Um, but yeah, so you had the warm welcome block, yeah? So it's like a wreath.
Yeah,
So cute. I
that
haven't
was my
made any of
favorite
the
one.
blocks yet because I'd have to have time to sew for myself, and that's just
I mean,
non-existent right now.
honestly, yeah.
So
But
that
yeah, I
was
did the
fun.
warm weather. It was a wreath. Yeah, just like a four two-tone, four color wreath or whatever. And people were really excited about that one. I think people were excited because it was just very straightforward. It was just half square triangles, like build it out. And I've seen actually a lot of different versions. It's been popping up again recently on my feed. People have been making spring versions of it, like yeah. So
Oh,
I was like, okay, that's super
cute.
fun. So I saw the fall versions like with sweater weather, and then I saw Christmas ones coming around. They were doing like green and red, and like I said, now I feel like it's coming back, and I'm seeing spring ones, which has been like super fun. I was like, okay, that's adorable. Like I haven't even
That's
made a
so
spring one, but it's making me want to remake the block with like some spring colors.
yeah. Well,
It was
yeah,
cute. I saw
just
people making little like wall hangers and hanging them on their front doors as like a wreath,
yeah.
or pillows. So it's like, yeah, it was just like such a fun, versatile block. I feel like people were really hyped about it.
Yeah. I was gonna say it'd be so fun to make in like, different seasonal colors and then
Yeah.
make it into like make them into pillow covers and like
Mhm.
because I change out my pillow covers in my living room all the time and
Mhm.
because it's so easy to make a new cover with a zipper so I can take it off, wash it, and change it out
Exactly. Yeah.
and what a fun idea. And yeah, like the is it four color because it's the background
Yeah, it
and
was a
then
four color. Yeah, like
okay.
each leaf was like two colors,
Oh,
basically.
sweet. Yeah,
Hmm.
so then that's like an easy, you don't
Yeah.
have to have a lot into it and it's so
Hmm.
cute and I love that idea. How fun for like
Thank you.
seasonal and yeah, so cute. I just love the whole sweater weather sampler
Yeah.
concept. Like just so fun and
Yeah.
each
This
block is
last year, it
unique.
was so cool to see all the designs. So we have like, each come up with our own design. And
Yeah.
from what, 2023 to 2024,
Hmm.
could see each designer just level up. Like the design just got a little bit more, I don't want to say more difficult, but just like I think we each honed in on our own style.
Yeah.
Um, everything just looked more refined. Like I feel like the designs looked more true to ourselves and our like personal design styles, and just it was really cool. You're like seeing it all together, you're like, whoa, this was like leveled up this year. It was so cool.
Yeah. 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 I loved it. And like obviously 2023 was so great too. So like I'm with you. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's not like, oh, this one's better, that one's better. It's just, yeah, it's just different. It's like,
Yeah. Well, like we were
oh,
just talking about like our evolution as quilters. It was like just to be able to see that like all nine of us was like leveled up in a year. I was like, this is just so cool. Just so cool
yeah.
to watch each of us grow and like in so many different ways. But then like that was just like one way that, to see growth was like just see our designs from year to year. And I'm so excited for like we're already like scheming up this year's and like I'm so excited to share those. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah. And it's fun that like you each can contribute and it's not all on one person,
Yeah.
and you guys like gel together so well, and it feels like you, at least from the ladies I've chatted with before and have conversations with, like it feels like you guys really just like have each other's backs and you push each other to grow.
Yeah.
And there's something so valuable about relationships that like that person would like go to bat for you, but also they're going to hold you accountable and like be there to push you and not
Yes.
just tell you what you want to hear and
Yes.
be like, girl, are you sure you want to do that? And
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like
so
those friendships are so few and far between, and they're so valuable when you find them. And somehow, I have no idea how it happened, but we just all got thrown together and immediately clicked. And it's exactly been that kind of friendship. It's like, I feel like none of us would be as successful as we are with, excuse me, without this group, because I feel Anne has the best quote. She goes, "You guys make me brave. Like you make me want to do different things, try new things, put myself out there." She's like, "I would have never tried half these things had you guys not encouraged me or guided me or helped me along the way." So we just have this like collective where we're always able to bounce ideas off each other, help each other with stuff. So
yeah,
it's fantastic. And I just, like you said, it's, what is it? A rising tide lifts all ships. And
yeah,
like that's like our unofficial motto of the group.
yeah, and like you can only be as good as like the least of you. So
Right.
if you're all lifting each other all the time, then it's like nobody's going to be left behind to lag, and then that means the whole of you, all of you are going to be better because of it. So I
That's
love
exactly
that.
what's happened the last few years. It's been pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's so cool. I love that. And just to see like the powerful connection and like have that be, see that produced, like a quilt produced from all of that, and to be
Hmm.
a part of it and to be encouraged by that is just such a fun experience to just get to witness it and
Hmm.
and see it and be a part of it. So it's
Yeah, the
really
first sweater weather sampler, we all made our own blocks and they
cool.
mailed them all to me, and I got to like piece the whole thing together. And that was like such a, oh my God, I remember just being like teary eyed. I was like, I get to like, we'd never even met in person at that point. Like we'd become like online best friends. And I was like, now I get all these blocks from all over the country. Like, and I get to be the one to put it together. And I was like, it was just so special. It was
Yeah.
so special. And then Abby pieced last year. So we did the same thing. We all made our own block, mailed it to Abby. And then Abby
Okay.
pieced it all together for us. So
Oh, that's so
yeah.
fun. And yeah, like
Yeah.
something that you all put your heart and soul into, and to
Hmm.
get to be the one to bring it all together.
I know. I was like,
Oh
oh
my
my gosh, I
gosh.
get to like hold all these blocks and put them together and like make it a whole quilt. It's a whole
Hmm.
damn quilt.
The whole damn thing. That is so fun. And again, like I said, I loved the first year and was talking to everybody kind of as it was coming out. And then yeah, to see the second one, I was just like, oh my gosh, you guys, like, how
Right.
are you gonna top this? Which I
I
know you guys
know.
are going to. So it's just like, I know you will. It's just hard to fathom sometimes, but
Yeah. I think that one really resonated with a lot of people. It was a popular one.
yeah, which for good reason, because it's honestly so beautiful and
Thank you. Thank you.
it
A
all
lot of love
feels
went
like,
into it.
yeah, well, and it all feels so cohesive, even though it's like each block is definitely like, yes, this is has the
Hmm.
personality of each designer, but it still feels really good together. So it's not like,
Hmm.
why is that in there? You know,
Yeah, right.
sometimes you see samplers and you're like, what happened? But not very often, thankfully, because I think people have fine-tuned themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, when you see something that clicks, it's like, oh, they get it. And just kind of knowing, I think when you have such a tight bond and you know each other really well too, you
Hmm.
can kind of understand how your design is going to fit in with their designs and like vice
It's
versa.
like that
So
subconscious thing that happens. Like you don't even realize it's happening, but you guys are just gelling together.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Sharing
So
brain
good.
waves. I don't know. I don't know how that works, but
I don't either, but it doesn't matter. I don't need to know. It just does. I love it. So okay, I just lost my train of thought and I had
that's
a
okay.
question. I don't know.
I feel like my chair keeps squeaking. I have to edit that out.
I can't hear it. Mine squeaks
Okay.
too, so it's pretty good at blocking out like kind of
Okay,
background
good.
noise. So
The
I don't
background
know.
noise.
Yeah. Um, gosh, what was I gonna say?
Let's see, we were talking about the sampler. Was something with that?
I think I was, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
That's okay.
We can go back to Quilt Scouts.
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
think because
Yeah, with Quilt Scouts, it's I was gonna tell you too, so one of the things with like Quilt Scouts is I really wanted to do retreats. This
uh-huh.
last year, doing an in-person retreat, I was like, okay, that's not going to happen in our first year. Like, there's just too much other stuff going on. So we did a virtual retreat, which
Okay.
was so much fun. Like, we did it over like a Saturday and Sunday. Just did it on Zoom, and then it had a whole like camp theme to it. So like, we
Oh.
split up groups into like cabins. So like, you had to like be in your cabin for like your free sew time, and then we did like tutorials and played games. We do like classic camp games and stuff, but like
Hmm.
the virtual version. But then this year the goal was like, okay, I want to do like an in-person retreat, but I was like, I don't want it to be like any other quilt retreat. I want it to be like a Quilt Scouts quilt retreat.
Yeah.
So we're just finalizing like the details on it, but it's basically going to be like the summer camp for adults, like adult quilters.
Yes.
It's going to be in Pennsylvania in mid-September. I haven't opened it up to like tickets yet, but that's going to be launching. So we'll be selling tickets, and it's open to Quilt Scouts and non-Quilt Scout members. So like prospective Quilt Scouts. So we have a lot of members that are like bringing friends or family that like want to come along to Quilt Camp or are interested in Quilt Scouts but haven't joined.
Yeah.
So it's open to all quilters. So yeah, that's going to be super fun. It's going to be a combination of, we're actually hosting it at like a summer camp location where they have
Okay.
cabins and it's on a lake, and like they have all the classic camp activities, but then we're also going to weave in like the quilting part of it. So we're going to have like quilting time, adventure time. I don't know. We're still working on other details, but like that's been like the dream since we launched Quilt Scouts was to have like a camp.
Yeah. Oh my
Quilt Camp
gosh.
2025 will be in September.
2025. Okay, September. So we'll watch for signups for that because that sounds really fun. And if you want to be a quilt scout or if you are a quilt scout,
If you're a millennial quilter just wanting to like relive the glory years of being a Girl Scout or a camper, it's for you.
yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun. I know I was just talking to some of my friends and we're like, we need to do our own little like quilt retreat and
Yeah.
just like make time for ourselves to go sew together. And it's like when you all live in different states, it's like
Mm-hmm. It's easier said than done. It's
it
hard
is.
because we've said that too with the Nine Patch. Like we say, I feel like every year, like we need to get together for like a weekend to like sew or do a retreat or just like sit down and like plan out sweater weather together. Like because it's always like very piecemeal through the year. It's like
Yeah,
we have yet to make it happen. Like we talk about it every year. I was like, we need to just book it,
do it.
do
Just do it.
it.
I know. I know. It's hard and especially when everybody's kind of in different stages of life. It's
Yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
new babies or just kids who really need
Oh
their,
yeah.
need a lot of attention because it's just how it is. And
Yeah, just life.
yeah, but
Someday.
busy
Someday
businesses.
we'll get
Yeah,
together.
figures. I know it's hard and think I'm lucky to have, some people in person, which is so nice
Mhm.
and I still bounce everything off of them, but it's just not yeah, it's like the people who live away, I'm like, but I also want to hang out with you.
Mhm. Yeah. Do you guys
So,
ever do like just like a Zoom retreat where you guys just like sit on Zoom and sew or yeah. I feel like
yeah,
that's fun too. There's like no
yeah,
pressure to talk or do anything. You guys just like hang out and Zoom. Yeah, I always like that. It's always
yeah,
fun.
yeah, that is fun. Yeah, in the meantime of, planning an in-person thing, yeah, that'll do. And it is nice.
Hmm.
It is nice to have that just kind of companionship of just having your friend there while you're all just kind of doing your thing and
Yeah.
chit-chatting and nonsense. But
Hmm.
anyway, yeah, I love that idea of like having it at a camp and like
Yeah.
reliving the kind of summer camp vibes and
Yeah. Well, I think like the nostalgia part of like Quilt Scouts is really been, I think that's really resonating with a lot of people too, because we have so many Quilt Scout members that were like, I was a former Girl Scout, or I was a Girl Scout troop leader, or I was a Boy Scout troop leader for my son's troop.
hmm
So like having the opportunity to like earn badges now for yourself for like things that
yeah,
your achievements and the things you're doing has been such an appeal for people. Like, oh my gosh, I've sewn so many badges onto my son's sash. Now I get to do it for myself. Like it's just been huge. Or like you said, just like reliving like when I was a Girl Scout or whatever. Or I actually was
yeah,
Okay, so I don't know if I was never really actually a Girl Scout. I did Girl Scouts for like a short time.
Me too.
But I remember being like really disappointed in the experience. Like I thought it was going to be like this outdoorsy, we're going and doing fun thing. And it was like, it wasn't anything like that. I think it was just my troop. But I was like, I don't really like this is kind of like not fun or like not what I thought it was going to be. So I didn't do
Mm,
it for very long. So I always joke, I'm like, this is like my redemption. I'm like redeeming my Girl Scout experience. We're gonna replace it with the Quilt Scouts experience. Like
yeah,
yeah, we have a lot of former Girl Scouts in our troop.
that's so funny. And like it makes sense because I mean, once you're a Girl Scout, you're always a Girl Scout, I think, you
Mm-hmm.
know? It's like
True.
it's supposed to be a life lesson thing. It's supposed to be a like you carry this through your whole life kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? And so it makes sense that that's something that a former Girl Scout member would be like, this is my jam because this is
Yeah.
what I do with my life.
Yeah.
I pick something to conquer, I conquer it, and I get a badge. Like,
Yep.
I think it like scratches an itch for like overachieving eldest daughters
Right.
as
Yeah.
well. I'm like,
For all the A
should I
plus
join?
students out there.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Totally. Yes.
I need all the achievements in the world. So funny.
And we had
Oh
like a
my
couple
God.
silly badges too. One of the newer ones was, and this one was campaigned for by some of the members, but the midnight quilter. So if you're staying
Okay.
up late quilting, like into the wee early morning hours, there's a badge for that. We have one for rotary blade survivor because we've all gone head to head with the rotary blade and nearly lost a finger. So there's one for that. So we always joke it's like the badge you don't want to earn, but like we all earn it.
Yeah. Yeah. You're like,
It's
I want
still
to
a
have to
badge of
do it.
honor, but like,
Yeah.
ugh.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But then, you've got a community so you're not alone of earning that silly badge because you're like, well,
Mhm.
I guess we all do it, you know? It's like
Yeah, exactly.
you're not
Yeah.
alone.
Yep, we all do it.
What's your favorite badge that you've come up with?
Oh, I think I'm looking at my badges over here.
Yeah.
Okay, I think Hide for Quilt photos might be one of my favorites because it's just super cute. It's a little boot. Hold on, I'll show you. And it's just like a fun one to earn. I think this one's my favorite one.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, that one's cute. And then I think one that's like really on my bucket list is the International Quilt Museum badge. I have yet to visit that one. So like that
Oh,
one is just staring at me all the time. I'm like, I have to go to Omaha and like visit the museum so I can get this badge. I have one for the International Quilt Museum and the National Quilt Museum in Paducah. Um,
okay.
so those ones are kind of my favorites too. But like I said, I haven't earned them yet. So go to the
Yeah.
museum.
They're like aspirational,
Yeah.
aspirational patches at the moment.
That one's a road trip. That one's a little bit more expensive than like going in for a hike on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly. I know. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Um, the first year of the podcast, like we went and made a calendar, and my friend who started it with me, like, and my husband, because he was our photographer, and we like took quilts out everywhere because here
Yeah.
in Boise, like we're at the base of like the mountains, and I mean, we call them mountains here, but they're like other people's foothills because
Where are
they're
you at
so.
again?
I'm in Boise, in
Okay.
Idaho.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's like nestled in the valley and we're like right up against some foothills. But anyway, so it's just like easy to hike up into the hills. And so we
Hmm.
did a lot of hiking that day to get shots of the quilts out in the wild. But I'm like, oh, I earned that badge like 10 times
Yeah.
over already. So
Yeah.
anyway,
I think that's one that like so many of us already do. Like we already
yeah.
go for walks and hikes to get like you got to get like the quilt photo, right? Like
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like one of those things like we all do this. Like we all go for walks and hikes to like photograph our quilts like we're gonna make a badge for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
so
if it's
funny.
right out, it fits right into like the outdoor adventure theme. So
Yeah. Exactly. That's perfect. And it's so cute. It's a little boot. I love
I
that.
know, I love it. I think this was one of the first ones I designed actually. Maybe that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah. One of your first little brain children.
Hmm. Exactly.
How cute. Do you plan on like, do you think you'll ever kind of return to being more into the modern moon side of things? Or do you think
I,
Quilt Scouts is like, that's your jam?
I think Quilt Scouts is my jam. Like modern, still there. Like
Sure.
Instagram's still there, the website's still there. Um, yeah, this has been a conversation we've been having on and off like with my husband and my friends like for the last year. I'm like, what am I gonna do with modern moon? Because I don't have the time and energy to like feed into it.
Hmm.
any more than I already have. Like all of my time and energy was really going into quilt stuff because I feel like I just enjoy it so much more. Um, I'll always like appreciate, Modern Moon where it got me. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's probably gonna go to the side here. So we'll see.
Yeah.
It hasn't been official yet. I haven't scrapped it officially, but I think Quilt Scouts is it.
Yeah.
It just
That's
feels
so
right.
yeah. Well, and that's exciting too, because I think like you were saying, like there's so many aspects of the quilting world. And like when
Hmm.
you find the one that like fits you or that, fills your bucket, it's like, why would you try to do anything else?
Hmm.
Unless
Yeah.
it's like adding to that,
Yeah.
learning a new skill to help you move forward or whatever. But in terms of like, you know, individuating your businesses, it's like, why do you need two of them when you can have
Yeah.
one? And
Exactly.
one that feeds every aspect of it. You still get to design fun stuff. You still get to
Hmm.
work with your nine patch ladies. Like you're
Yeah.
working on encouraging quilters to break out of their comfort zone and try new things and work together and
Hmm.
make a quilt camp, a quilt summer camp. I mean, seems
Yeah.
like it ticks all the boxes. So
It really does. I mean, I feel like it's about as creative as I can get or have ever been for sure. Like in like all the best ways. You know what I mean? I feel like
yeah,
it's not stressful. It's not stressful, like, okay, I have to come up with a pattern, like, and you're staring at this blank page trying to design something. It's like the ideas just come so much easier and it just feels so much more natural. And I feel like that's the sign that like I have like this is it. I mean,
yeah,
who knows how it will adapt? Like I'm never gonna like rule out anything. Like it could change or we could pivot again in the future. But um yeah, like I think this is like it's been really, really cool. It's really, really fun. But I still have patterns for sale on Modern Moon Quilt Studio. Like I have my carbide. Carbide is like my most popular quilt pattern. Next to that would probably be Happy Camper and then Betsy. So I still have those for sale. So I can't just like scrap those because I know people are still going to be interested in those. So I've been
right.
trying the idea of like rebranding them and like bringing them into the Quilt Scouts bubble and like selling them there, like with, like I said, just kind of like update, like rebrand them.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that's really kind of what I'm holding on to is like I know people still like purchasing those patterns, so I still make them available on my website and Etsy and stuff like that. But I just haven't grown my pattern catalog for Modern Moon in a while,
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's
Well,
okay.
when you make a decision, it'll feel right and you'll
Yeah,
do what you need to do. And
yeah, I feel like that's how I usually make most of my decisions. I'm like, nope, this feels right. I'm just gonna do it. Like I try not to overthink stuff. I'm just like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
maybe somebody call me impulsive, but
Well, I think
I
I
just do
think
it and I
if
go
you're
for it.
yeah, well, and I think if you're in tune with yourself too, to know yourself enough, like what might seem like impulse to some people is just you going, no, I trust myself and like I'm not
Yeah.
going to overthink this because that will keep me in an indecision loop, which is what happens to me.
Yes.
But when I'm like, oh, I should have listened to myself 2 seconds ago because like I already knew the answer kind of thing, like
Yes.
it's like, oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's like already inside of you. You just have to listen and
Yeah,
trust your
exactly. Yeah.
trust
And
yourself. Like,
I feel like I do that. I've been trying to do that more, just trust myself. And like when something I'm always the kind of person, like, even when I'm like just shopping for something, it's like I don't know what I'm looking for, but I know it when I see it. And when I see
mm-hmm,
it, I get it. Like, and I feel
mm-hmm,
like I'm like that with most like life decisions. Like I don't always know what I'm gonna do, but like I know this feels right. I'm gonna go for this. I'm gonna just figure it out as I go.
yeah,
My friends always joke about that too. They're like, "Oh, I got to put my Megan pants on and like just figure like I just have to jump in and do it and like figure it out as I go." And I'm like, it's really sometimes the only way to do it. You just got to jump in and do it and
yeah,
sort it out. Like,
yeah. Well, and I think too, it's a piece of like if you're staying informed about what's going on around you and like what's going on in the quilting world or like whatever, aspect of the business kind of side of things that you want to be involved with or just like
mhm.
know about, it makes it easier to make decisions because then you're
True.
not like, oh, now I've never even thought of this. Like now I need to do all this research. It's like, well, I already know. So I know that that would be a good fit, or I know that that is not an area I even want to step foot in. So
Yeah.
it almost makes again, it makes it seem impulsive, but it's like if you kind of stay up on things and
Hmm.
stay aware and stay self-aware, like I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm kind of in that same boat too. I'm like starting to like really lean in and listen to myself more and trust myself
Yes.
more. And like it makes those business decisions like, oh no, yeah, this is what I want. And this feels so
Hmm.
much better to me. And like I already know how I'm gonna approach it and I'm just gonna go for it. Cause it's like
Hmm.
I could analyze it to death or I could just do it. you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. Exactly.
So,
Especially if it's like something like relatively low risk. But like listening to your
yeah.
gut, oh God, that's such a valuable skill. And I feel like not enough people do it.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's just so
Yeah.
many. Anytime in any of the businesses I've had, like there's been a few, like um I always try to listen to my gut. Anytime something fell off, like, oh, made me hesitate. I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
know. Like I always pump the brakes. I'm like, nope. But anytime something
Yep.
feels, I'm like, yeah, this is it. Like, let's do this. Like, and I just jump in, like
Yeah.
why overthink it? But yeah, you gotta listen to your gut.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Your intuition knows before you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be a tricky exercise for some people. Like it took me a really long time to get to that point because I had to
Mm-hmm.
unlearn the self mistrust and like the self sabotage and the like betrayal of who I am and what I know about me that was ingrained into me for years. And like,
Yeah.
and now that I'm like leaving all that behind, I'm like, oh, I know so much. Like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
I've got me. I've got my back. Like
Yeah.
I know what's right. I know what's right for me. I know who I am. And like getting to know
Mm-hmm.
yourself, I think really helps that. And I think it resonates throughout like whatever you do, it touches everything you do. And so
Mm-hmm.
to me, it seems like worth the hard work it takes to look in the mirror and meet yourself and go, oh, hello. Like, who are you inside and out? Like the good, the bad, the ugly, like air it all out for yourself. And then the rest of life feels like kind of an easy,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say easy, maybe more simple.
Yeah.
'Cause some decisions, like it's simple. It's like, oh, here's the answer, but it might still be
Mm-hmm.
hard. But anyway,
No, no, I totally get what you're saying. Like my previous, like before I was in quilting and before I started my quilt business, I had a chiropractic practice. I was a chiropractor and I had my own
what?
practice. It was like this feels like another life. Like I have nothing to do with that world anymore, but that was like my first business I had and
Holy
learned a
smokes.
ton
Yeah.
just running a business, but it was very stressful. Like I got burned out just trying to take care of patients and deal with insurance and like it was just
Yeah.
not fun. Like I mean, I love chiropractic and they'll always hold like a special place in my heart. Like I love what I got to do, but like the business side of it and the patient care side of it got very heavy. But
Hmm.
anyways, pivoting from that, selling my practice and then moving into the quilting world, I was like, this is fun. Like none of this is stressful. Like compared to what
Yeah.
I did before, like I could overthink so many things, but now I'm like, it's quilts, man. Like
Yeah.
fabric, this is all fun. Like there's nothing that like I said, it's always relative, right? Perspective is always relative. But yeah, coming from that to this, I'm like, nah, this is easy stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm the same. Well, not, I wasn't a chiropractor, but I was a teacher
yeah,
and stepping out of the
heavy.
classroom, I'm like, oh, I think it does. It makes it so much easier to not take it so seriously and to
Exactly.
just like,
Yeah.
this is not like someone's child.
Hmm.
This is a
Yeah.
piece of fabric, you know?
It's a quilt block. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So that relativity of like, yeah, for us, we have these different high stakes perspectives of like, if I mess
Yeah.
this up, I'm messing up someone's life. But
Yeah.
on this side of things, it's like, it's just fabric. It's fine.
But I
Everything's
mean, it's
figure
like,
outable.
exactly, exactly. Like this is fun. This is easy. This is stress free. It's creative. Like stuff just flows. It just, yeah, it's just different. So, but yeah, that other bit. I mean, it feels like a whole other lifetime away. Like I feel so removed from it now. I'm like, was I
Hmm.
ever? Did I like?
Yeah. Right. I know.
I
I'm
remember
like,
I
oh,
was
I
actually
got that
just
whole degree
recently, I
for
was
what?
talking to my kiddo. We've been learning in homeschool, like about community helpers and
Mm,
doctors and police and stuff like that. And he was talking,
yeah.
we were doctors and what doctors do. And I can't remember what he said, but I was like, actually, I am a doctor, bud. Like I'm a doctor. And he's just like, nah, that's not
It's like,
real.
okay,
I was
mom.
like,
Yeah.
all right, someday when you're older, I'll go dust off my diploma and I can show you like
Right. Oh my gosh.
and
That is
once
so
upon a
funny.
time. Yeah, like I was.
Yeah, I know I've got my master's diploma. Like you can't see it because it's on the very
Right.
top shelf, but it's like sitting up there. I'm like, I mean, I did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a master of educational technology, but I'm gonna go long arm some quilts, I
I
guess.
know. Exactly. It's like, oh, the way the places life takes us. Yeah. It's like I would have never thought I would have landed here. I thought I would have had that chiropractic practice till I died, and here we are. Like,
I know, right? I was like, I'm staying in third grade forever. I'm gonna just like ride it out. No,
mhm.
I hit 8 years and I was like, I am out of here.
That
Oh,
is
sorry.
not an easy job. Yeah.
No,
Mm.
no, it's not. But yeah, anyway. Oh, so crazy. I can't believe that you were a chiropractor. You're
I
just like,
know.
oh, by the way, I'm just gonna
I
drop
know.
this in here.
People are just like, so what did you? I'm like, well, yeah, it was quite the life shift, but I was always like, don't hold it against me. But
Right.
used to be a chiropractor with a practice. It was a whole other thing. But gosh, you know what? I learned so much running that business. And I will say, and even like from Modern Moon to Quilt Scouts, like what I learned building up Modern Moon Quilt Studio, taking that into Quilt Scouts, like yeah, like you learn so much stuff that you wouldn't think would be relevant, like relevant in like the new business, but it
Mhm.
just carries over so well. Like just these lessons we learn and all these,
Yeah.
so it wasn't, a waste of time, gosh, I mean, like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have gotten here if I hadn't gone through that first. So
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's like, because sometimes I'll be like, God, I got a degree. Like, I did all this. I went to so much college. I have so much student
mhm.
debt for what? And I'm like, it made me who I am right now. And today, like, I would never change that because I
Mhm.
love where I'm at and who I am so much
Yeah.
now that like all of that just like built me up to be this person, to even have the courage and the wherewithal to like own my own business and
Hmm.
the ability to like yeah, trust myself and to like just the problem solving I learned through all of that and
Yeah.
the hard lessons learned and
Hmm.
just all of the things like yeah,
Learning how to
there's
have
so
tough
much.
conversations and communicate with people and teach
Yeah.
you have to learn how to like teach different, kids learn in different ways. So you have to be able to, teach to different kids. And then that translates over, when you're
Yep.
teaching a quilt tutorial, now I know how to, so it
Yeah.
all goes together.
Yeah. For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
How funny. Yeah, it's so and that's the thing. It's like that's why I love doing this podcast because I learned so much about people. Like I would never have known that you were a chiropractor, but
Surprise.
it's like I love just like finding out how people like what got them to here and like who they are and why
Mhm.
their corner of the quilty world looks the way it does. And like that's just
Yeah.
so interesting and so cool. And thank you for sharing that. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like, you're used to just talking about quilts, but that's so cool. And it again, it's just like so fun to learn those things because I just think it gives such a window into like perspectives and like makes certain things make more like I don't know. I don't know what it
Yeah.
would make more sense, but I think just you have to have a certain something to like learn that much about one topic and like
Hmm.
dig so deep and chiropractic is a big it's a lot of
Hmm.
stuff to learn and
Yeah.
to know and
Yeah.
the the gumption it takes to like really get through that and take it seriously and start a practice and all that stuff. It's like that's so cool and no wonder you're able to take on something like Quilt Scouts and like, you know,
Yeah. Like I
make
said,
that
I
a
think just like it gives you different perspective, like with
yeah,
these new adventures we get on. I'm like, okay, I could do that. If I
yeah,
could do that, I could do this.
yeah,
You know, like I'm a smart person. I can figure this out. Like I don't know what I'm
yeah,
doing right now, but like I'll figure it out and I'll learn. Like I've
right?
learned lots of other things. Like I can learn how to do this.
Yeah. Do you have you ever seen that like trend or that sound that was going around like on Reels? And I think it started in TikTok, but it was like the girl that was like, if boys could do it, how hard could it be? And then she was like, if boys could do it, how hard can it be? And it was just like this whole
That
thing. I was
makes
like, yeah,
sense.
that's like kind of how I feel about like running a business. It's like, oh, that's cute, your little hobby. And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I run a whole ass business. Like,
Like no.
I'm not just like some stay-at-home wifey who sews sometimes. Like, absolutely
Yeah.
not. Like,
I know, like the person, like this, how people picture us is just very funny to me. But like you're
yeah,
trying to like the randos, like you're trying to explain what you do, and you're like, oh, like that's cute. And we're like, no, like you don't understand. Like it's bigger than that.
yeah.
Like,
I'm like, okay.
but thank you.
You're like, oh, my grandma used to quilt and everything's brown. I'm like, no. I'm like, hold on. And I will like literally show people pictures. I'll like pull up my phone and be like, look. And they're like, what? That's a quilt? I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't do what your grandma does. That's why it's called Not Your Granny's. No, no.
It's
It's just,
different.
yeah, yeah, it's super funny. But I do love like kind of opening people's perspective to like, no, well, that's not what quilting is anymore. It can be that
Hmm.
still, and that's
Hmm.
fine. Like I have nothing
Yeah.
against it. I just
Yeah.
think there's also so many other ways to approach it.
So
And I
much.
think that's part of what I bring to the table from my education piece of my life was like just that concept that like everybody learns in a little bit different ways and like
Yes.
we can all get to the same answer. We can all make a quilt. We just might have different avenues to get there. And that's all right. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any of it right or wrong. It just is the way that you made it. And then you get a quilt out the end. Okay. It doesn't matter where you started. Like
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you sandwich 3 layers together and you put a binding on it, congratulations, you made a quilt. Like who am I to tell you is right or wrong, you know?
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's been really freeing too. Cause I think at first, like I was definitely like kind of rigid and like would be very judgy about certain things. And I'm like, now I'm like, who the heck did I think I was to even have a judgment in the first place? And now, I'm like, I've apologized a lot for it, but I'm like, I think we're good. But anyway, it's just funny to like think back to like how persnickety and like snooty I was about certain things. Like, oh, you can only use this and only use that. And quilter seasons are crazy. And I'm like, girl, calm down.
Calm down.
Been through a lot of therapy since then, so we're okay.
It really is funny. Like looking back, like you're talking about like my first quilt, like this modern black and white. I'm like, no, I want it to be just like modern and like, whatever. And now I'm like, look at like all the colors I have behind me now. Like,
Yeah,
come
I
on.
know.
What did I think I
Yeah.
was gonna like? I don't
It's
know.
so funny. It's so funny.
That's
I
funny.
love it. It's just, and again, like going back all the way back, like talking about the quilts just being snapshots in time. It is just like funny
Mhm.
to see like those snapshots. And I'm like, who did I think I was with this quilt being so snooty? Like my seams are popping open because I didn't use a proper seam allowance, or like, you know what I mean? Like my binding looks like crap because I got a 2 inch strip instead of 2.5 inch strip. And then I tried to bind it by hand and it was just like a disaster. And I'm like, I don't know who I thought I was. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we all have those quilts that just humbled us.
Yeah. Yeah. It took a few to humble me because I was like, no, I'm gonna do it my way. Oh,
I feel like the
Amanda.
more I learn, like within quilting, because I feel like I'm still a relatively like a new quilter.
Yeah.
But the more I learn, the more I realize how much I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
wow, like we're just talking about how big the quilting like community is and just the
Yeah.
quilting world and like the tools and the patterns and the techniques. It's just like, God, there's so much I haven't learned yet. Like, oh my God, like I thought I kind of had like the basics figured out. I'm like, yeah, I know how to traditionally piece and do this and that. And then like you go to QuiltCon and then you learn something new. Like, I've never even heard of this, but it's been around for a decade. God, like I have
Yeah.
so much to learn. Like, it's crazy. It's so
Yeah.
humbling.
Yeah. It is. It truly is. And when people are like, oh, have you heard of this? I'm like, no. They're
Yes,
like, you
all the time.
haven't? I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, well,
I was
that's
like, oh,
fine.
I don't never heard of it. I don't know. Like, yeah, how have you not heard of this? I'm like, I don't know, man, because I just
Yeah.
don't know anything. Like,
I know. You're like, I don't know, because I'm a baby. I think too, sometimes people think like, how much can there be to know about quilting? And I'm
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
let me
Like,
tell you,
let
there's a
me
lot.
tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. But I love that aspect of it too, because I know that there's always something new I can learn. There's always something new I can incorporate into my practice, or there's always
Mhm.
something like different I can try. And it wouldn't take much for me to just like reach out and find something new, because
Yeah.
there's new stuff everywhere. And not that it's all new, but like new to me.
New to you. Yeah.
And maybe it's been around for centuries, but it's going to be new to
Mhm.
me, and maybe it's something I try eventually. But it's it's like a never ending thing. And because it's a creative endeavor, like you can do so much with it. You can traditionally piece, you can make applique, you can do reverse applique, you can do
Mhm.
additive quilts or um subtractive quilts where you're taking things away and adding things. It's like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to just be, yeah, just like
Mhm.
traditionally pieced. And there's so many techniques and so many different things you can combine. And so it just feels like an endless kind of pursuit of creativity, which I love because there's no end to it. There's no like, okay, well,
Right.
I accomplished that. Like, what do I do now? It's like, no, you
And I'm
can,
done.
yeah,
Reach the end of the internet. Like it doesn't
yeah,
happen.
no, exactly. Like, just keep going and going and going. And it's like fractals off itself because it's just like new iterations happen and you teach the next
Mhm.
generation and then they take it into their hands and do something else. And
Yeah.
It's so cool to see.
Well, it's funny. There's like so many badges that I've designed and have for scouts to get, but that I haven't personally done. Like there's like I said, there's so much that I'm still learning and things I have never done. We have a badge for English paper piecing. I have never English paper piece, but like
Mm,
we're gonna feature that badge like coming up. So I'm gonna dive in and I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna figure out the tools and I'm gonna, like share that. I have to do it. I have to earn that badge. Like, so even myself, like, I don't know, I guess I don't really know the perspective people have on me, but I feel like maybe they think that I know all of these things because I have all of the badges available. But I'm like, I don't. Like, I'm still learning. Like, right along, I don't know everything. There's so many
yeah,
of these things I haven't done or haven't learned, but you know, the
right.
badge is there to encourage us to try it. So I want to do it.
Right. No, I love that. And I think too, if it was limited to only things that you've ever done, like
Yeah.
that's that limits the community at large. And then like who you're gonna you're gonna only end up with, you know, with that. And you're not gonna be as open to people who are gonna add to it and
Hmm.
bring to the table new things. And like you said, you've got all these badges of things you haven't tried yet because
Hmm.
there's people in the community who have done them
Yeah.
and want a badge
And
for it.
I get new badge suggestions all the time. So I have like a huge list of
Yeah.
like I have so many badges I need to make and like order and like it just takes time to do all that stuff. But like, Y seams, half rectangle
Mhm.
triangles, like, all these things, like these little skills, like I've never done a Y seam. I have no idea
Me
how to do it,
either.
but I should probably learn. Like, so yeah, there's a lot of suggestions that come in. There's so many good ideas out there.
Yeah.
Recently in this Quilt Scouts community, they've been campaigning for I can't remember if it was we have a lot of pictures of pets on quilts, like dogs and cats. So it was
Oh,
either a badge like that or like something where you made something for your pet, like a dog bed or cat bed or something. So like
yeah.
I'll probably have a badge for that at some point. But they're like, yes, we need this, Megan. We need this badge, the quilt pets badge.
Yeah. No, I love that. I've made so much stuff for my cat, and like my friends have made stuff for their dogs and
Hmm.
other
Yeah, I made a
people's
couple dog
dogs.
beds. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, I got a new puppy. I need a new quilt. Like,
exactly.
okay. So, yeah, like my friends' dogs have multiple quilts each, and like my cat has multiple little pillows all over the house. And
I made one of my best friends, I made her a matching set of dog beds because she has two dogs.
Mhm.
A couple years ago, I gave them to her for Christmas, and every few weeks, I feel like I get a picture of her dogs on the bed. She's like, they still love them. They're still obsessed with the beds.
I love
Like
that.
years later, she's just like, yep, still got these.
I love it because like you just never know when you give somebody something, you're like, well, I hope you use
It's,
this.
yeah, you never know. So it is. It's nice to see that the dogs have been enjoying their quilt beds.
Yeah. Well, that's so cute. I love that.
Yeah.
I know. And like, I mean, I make baby quilts for everybody I know in my life who
I
has babies because that's just what you do. And
love a good baby quilt. I mean, it's just like a quick finish. Like
I know.
you love a quick win with a baby quilt.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm like, very specifically, I'm like, next time I see this quilt, there had better be spit up stains, there better be poop stains, like food,
Yes.
whatever. Like it had better be so used. Like, they're like, well, I
Yes.
don't want to mess it up. I'm like, bro,
Use it.
I literally made this quilt for your child to use, not to be tucked away in the closet and then be
Yes.
taken out so they can look at it later. Like, no,
Hmm.
like if something happens to it, I will fix it.
That's what
Like,
I say. Yes. I'm like, just send it back to Auntie Megan. I'll fix it. It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
good. Like,
Like I'd rather you be like, oh my gosh, like she was playing with that outside and it got snagged. Great. I love that. Let's patch it up and then she can keep playing. You know what I mean? Like,
it's got its own little story, like its own little like repair on it now.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. And
I'm the same way with quilts. Like, oh my gosh, like we go hiking for quilt photos and they're laying
yeah,
on rocks and in the trees and like, or
yeah.
we went camping and like I always take a couple quilts like camping and
Hmm.
stuff. And people like some people, like if I post on Instagram are like horrified. They're like, I would never with a
Yeah.
quilt. Like, it washes. I don't know, like it's throw it in the wash, it's all good. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
and I'm not taking out like my family heirloom quilt. Like, let's be clear here. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say there's different caliber of quilts. Like there's
yeah.
some quilts I would never do that with, but the rest of them, I'm like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like I have so many quilts. Like they've got to get used at some point. Like it can't all just stay in the basket or hold it on the shelf or on the bed or on the couch or
Yeah.
wherever they are, the
Yeah.
thousands of places they are in the house. But
I just love seeing them get used. Like that was another
yeah,
one. Like we have a picnic on a quilt like badge, like stargaze on a quilt badge. Like so, it's just so fun to just be able to have like either make a quilt like for that purpose, like an outdoor quilt that I can use for like my family picnics and like create family memories on it. And just like, like you said, you don't make special memories about quilts and like these things that we create when they're sitting on a shelf. Like it's when you get used, like, oh, this is the special quilt we always cuddle under when we watched family movies, like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's gonna get popcorn and butter on it probably, but like it's fine. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, all good.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
shout out, little Dawn
Exactly.
dish soap, it'll get out.
Yeah. And if not, oh well, like then like, oh my gosh, yes, we loved this quilt, we used this quilt. And like I love seeing like vintage quilts or like used quilts that are obviously old and it's like there's stains
Hmm.
inside and people are like, oh, there's all stainy. I'm like, yeah, but that means that's like a life lived on that quilt.
Hmm.
Like that is people's past and that is their love for each other and
Yeah,
their togetherness that's like showing on that quilt. And
love those vintage quilts. Yeah, gosh,
yeah.
the stories some of those tell, because like some of them are even made with like clothing, like,
Mhm.
so gosh,
Yeah.
so much that goes into those.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So much
really
history that we'll never know. I remember Emily my friend Emily was talking about on her, I don't know if you've interviewed Emily on her podcast. She was talking about um, labeling quilts and like why that's so important, because like when it does go to the next generation, or who even knows, even if it goes to like the thrift store and someone buys it, they're going to want to know
yeah.
like who made this, what would, when was it made, like who was it
Yeah.
made for, like this story behind each quilt, and like documenting that with a label, like
Hmm.
you got to do it, because you
Yeah.
never know where that quilt's going to go, and you're not always going to be around to tell the story about it.
Yeah, exactly. I know anytime I make, because a lot of like the quilt making I do for my business is um like memory quilts or like,
Yeah. Oh
like
yeah.
graduation quilts out of the kids like jerseys and shirts from their school years, whatever. And I'm like always ask the families, I'm like, hey, like, do you want a label? Like I'll embroider you a label. And the times that there's like, no, I'm like, but
Sorry, that was a rhetorical question. I'm making you a label.
that actually like here you go. It's $20, but you're getting it anyway.
Yeah.
Just because like, yeah, you never know. And that's the thing is like the what is it? They were at QuiltCon, obviously, but even last year at QuiltCon, they were like handing out like pre-printed like
I
labels.
think I did see them. I can't remember who that was, but it was like the Quilt Historical Society or something like that. Is that what
Yeah,
you're talking
yeah.
about? Where they were
Hmm.
like there, like campaigning for like quilt documentation. Yeah. I
Yeah,
can't
exactly.
remember
And
what they're
that's the
called. I'll have to look it up. But
Yeah, yeah, but they've got these like huge, beautiful vintage quilts that they're like, well, because of the fabrics, we know this came from like 1850s or whatever. And they're like, but we don't know who it belongs to because there's no names on it. And it's like, okay, back then, sure, people were just like making quilts out of necessity, out of
yeah.
whatever fabrics they could cut up and reuse, and that's fine.
Yep.
And but now, like with all the modernness we have, all the technology and all the things we have available to us, like I love seeing people like hand stitching their labels, but I'm like, put it on my embroidery machine,
Yeah.
get that thing stitched out, let's get it put on your quilt. And like,
Hmm.
yeah, I really try hard to convince people to label their
Yeah.
quilts because it's like
It
you
is
don't
definitely
know.
one of those things. Done is better than perfect. Like you just got
Hmm.
to get it done.
Yeah. Yeah, get that quilt done, put a label on it. And I think people kind of feel like, well, I don't, it's not good enough. It's like, yes, it is.
Hmm.
If you put it together and it's finished, it's good enough. That end of story. They're like the end.
Yeah.
That's it. Put a
Yeah.
label
Don't
on it.
forget.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I've had so much
Thank
fun
you.
chatting with you and
Me
getting to
too. I
know
feel like my
all
face
about.
hurts, like, because I'm like smiling, you know what I mean? So I'm
I know, I know. Sometimes I
laughing.
end these and I'm like, wow, I smiled like that whole time. But that's just like the sign of a great interview because it's
Exactly.
good,
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I
entertaining.
loved it.
Yeah, thank you. Well, before we hop off, do you have a tip or a piece of advice that you'd like to share with the listeners?
Yeah. Just try new things. Put yourself out there, be adventurous, try new things. And they're just quilts, they're just
Yeah.
quilts. It's not life or death. No one dies in quilting. So just get out there and try something new. And you never know when you're gonna find, your new love within quilting. So
Yeah. Perfect. Yep. I love that. I love that encouragement. And, if you need the extra encouragement, you can sign up to be a quilt scout. You can get your
absolutely.
badges. You can join the community.
Yes, please come join us. We love it. We're a growing troop over there. I said we're worldwide. We have scouts all over the world, so it's been super fun. So all are welcome. Come join us. Come check us out.
Yeah. go
So you can
follow.
always check me out at Instagram. I'm Instagram or my Instagram handle is quilt_scouts. Or you can find me at quiltscouts.com is the website. So yeah.
Perfect. And I'll link those in the show notes so that we don't have to try to mess with, because I know there's another Quilt Scouts out there and but we don't want to mess with that. So we'll put your direct links down there.
Yeah.
So
All good.
go click on those. And if you still have Modern Moon, so if people want to check out your other patterns, they can. And otherwise, we'll look forward to the next Quilt Scout Adventures and the new sweater weather sampler that's going to come out this fall.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll start teasing that probably this summer. So keep an eye out for sweater weather sampler teasers coming out. I think August. Can't remember the date, but it's
Yeah.
coming.
Okay, I'm so excited. Awesome. Well, thanks again. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.